Hello. Sorry, I had like as soon as the video came up, there was a pop-up on there. I have to make a mold for a customer, and then I have to turn the kiln on here in a little bit. I'll be casting, burning out some stuff today. We're gonna make a mold, and then we have to send some invoices, and then we have to start some rings. I'm on like a really tight crunch schedule because I'm trying to get a bunch of work done before I leave next week. My birthday is on Saturday, and then I leave on Sunday to go to my first GRS class. So, hi! I'm going to be taking my first GRS class. It's the first through, well, this starts the second through the 6th. I'm so excited. It's going to be a fishtail class. I think it's, French setting class with Johnny Oro at GRS, and I'm very, very, very excited. So I'm trying to get a bunch of my orders done before. I've got a few orders that need to be done in that week, so I'm trying to get them done now. This is kind of a last minute class that I'm joining on to, so I'm trying to just make sure I have everything done beforehand. But then I also have some casting orders that I need to get done before I go as well, so I kind of am just feeling like really rushed. But I wanted to come hang out too while I work, so I don't have to work by myself. Hey, oh, I'm so glad they help. But yeah, I'm trying to hurry. And then I've got, I'm getting my hair cut in about 2 hours. So I'm also trying to like put myself in a nice spot before I go. But yeah. I think my pen's a little too hot. I am making a mold. So I got my mold frame here. I got my client's ring here. So another jeweler sent me her ring to make a mold of. So I'm just adding a little sprue, and then I'm gonna attach it to here. Doesn't need to be that long. I'm just trimming it down a little bit. I'm gonna add a little sticky wax to the base frame just so it doesn't float away, because you have to vacuum out the air bubbles from the silicone. And if you don't use sticky wax, then your ring will just get taken away with the bubbles in the silicone. And this sticky wax, when it dries, it is like concrete. Make sure it's like all within the frame. Why don't you cast with stones? What do you mean, like casting with stones in place? I do cast with stones in place. I do, just depending on the design, like this ring, all of these gems are cast in place. But then like this ring, these are, I set this stone and I set one of the small ones, but then this one right here, this moissanite, is cast in place. So sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It just depends on the design and if I want it to be cast in place, because you get like a different look, you know. So sometimes you want to achieve that certain look, and other times you want it to be a little more like smooth and symmetrical and stuff. But yeah, it depends on like what stones you're using too. Not every stone can be cast in place. Like moissanite can be cast in place, sapphires can be cast in place, diamonds can be cast in place, rubies, and a lot of other like lab grown gems too. But like my like this morganite, you can't cast that in place because it would just break. Thank you. Hi, Lori. Thank you for subscribing. You're welcome. I've been wanting to buy your recent ring, the eye ring, but I worry about the silver. My silver bracelet turned black. Is there anything I can do for that? Aw, I mean, that's just the nature of silver. Like, silver does tarnish, but there are ways to keep it, like, really shiny. So with mine, like, I haven't polished it at all since I've been wearing it or since I first made it, and it's still really shiny. The key to silver is keeping it in a jewelry box overnight. So don't like, get chemicals on it. And then when you're done wearing it, if you can, give it a little rinse and then put it in a dark jewelry box, someplace closed. Because if you leave your jewelry exposed to the elements, it will tarnish. Like, there's no way around that with sterling silver. And then also, people have different chemical makeups in their skin. So like, your oil has different chemicals than other people. So some people's silver will tarnish quicker than other people's silver jewelry. But the best thing you can do is keep it in a dark, cool jewelry box, and that will like extend the life of your silver. As for the one that's already tarnished, you can go on Amazon and get a polishing cloth. They really do help. I think they help really well. They have polishing cloths that are like embedded with compound as well. That'll help you get some of that tarnish off. So give that a try. And then they also have like silver cleaning solutions on Amazon too. I don't know of any good name brands that I can recommend. I've never used any for like people that don't have polishing equipment. But I know a polishing cloth can get a lot of tarnish off. So hopefully that helps. But if you get the eye ring, just store it away and you'll be good. It'll last a really long time. I don't think I've polished any of my silver jewelry that I wear on a daily basis since making it. Some of them I've been wearing for years, and I just put them away in a box and they stay fine. But it just depends on how you wear your jewelry and like if you get perfume on it or if you get lotions on it and stuff like that. But I'm glad you like the ring. It's one of my favorite ones. Mother's polish works really good if you're... I've never heard of that. Mother's polish. Thank you, Mom. Give me the bracelet so I never take it off. I guess there's also beauty in the tarnish. Yeah, for sure. But like I said, like if you don't want it to be tarnished, you can just take a polishing cloth on Amazon and just like give it a good like rub back and forth, and it'll take a lot of that like surface polish or tarnish off. Just give it a little bit more life. Am I wrong that the more you wear the silver, the shinier it gets? I don't know. I've never heard that, but you could be right. I don't know. Maybe that's a ChatGPT question. But I wear my silver every day and it doesn't tarnish because I thought it was because I stored it away, which I do know for a fact that storing it away does help, because I've had jewelry that I didn't really care much about and I kept it on my bedside table, like out in the open. And then my jewelry that I do care about, I put in my jewelry box, and those rings will turn dark within like a month, like really dark. And then my jewelry box jewelry stays really nice. So definitely just store it away. Do rings shrink a little when getting cast? I'm doing a size 10 with wax. Okay, so for some people, yes, and for other people, no. Like, I've noticed my ring sizes don't shrink when I cast them, but sometimes my settings will, just a tiny bit, and I'll have to just burr out a little bit of metal. But my ring sizes don't shrink at all. They always stay the same. So I guess it just depends on your caster. Like, maybe ask them what they've experienced, because everyone's different. It also matters if you're injecting a mold too, because I know with certain types of molds, like for room temperature molds, there usually isn't any shrinkage, but for molds that are made with rubber and with like a vulcanizer, usually those can shrink by a little bit. So they're kind of variations of why it would shrink, but try that same amount of time. That's good to know. It makes you want to wear your silver jewelry more often. All right, let's go start this mold. I'll take you guys over here to the dirty table over here. This casting area is so dirty. I should have sealed the top of my workbench and I never did. If you're gonna start casting and you're working on a wooden table and you haven't sealed this area is I can't like spray it and wipe it off, and I'm scared to suck it up with my vacuum cleaner. I don't know, I gotta figure something out with all of that, but it's just messy. I don't know what to do with it. Okay, so for my mold, I always have to think in my head to remember what the measurements were. I believe for 2 molds, it's 110 grams of silicone and 11 grams of the catalyst, but since I'm only doing 1 mold, I'll do 55 grams of silicone just to cut it in half and 5.5 grams of the catalyst. So let me get my little scale. My dog is sleeping on the floor right there. He's gonna trip me. Okay. So we've got, let me put my, this on here. I need to get some more mold stuff. So 5 grams. And then just go to pour it in. I've got so much stuff to do today, like a bunch of random different tasks. I normally try and like keep everything separate on each day, like mold making and casting on one day, stone setting on another day, polishing and mailing things on another day, but I'm trying to, so my birthday's on Saturday, and then I leave on Sunday for a GRS class, which I'm very excited about. And so I'm trying to get everything done before Saturday so that I can leave for that week and not feel bad. So I'm like in my head, I've invested a flask today, I've set a stone today, I've cleaned some castings today. Like I'm just kind of all over the place. And in my brain, I feel like my brain is just moving a million miles per hour. And then I'm like, okay, but then I gotta make dinner tonight and I gotta order groceries. Like don't forget to order groceries. You know. I'm writing everything down. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Do you have videos about mold making? I do. I have a whole video. I have a video on like the first time I ever made a mold, and then I have kind of an updated video of like, okay, I know what I'm doing now. Like, here's how I make my mold. But yes, I have a YouTube video on it. Hope you're well. Happy birthday. Thank you. What market did you do in the UK? I went to, I was doing I didn't do the Ely market. I did the one in no, I did do the Ely markets. Yeah, in Ely. I get them confused between Ely and Bury St. Edmunds, but I went to the Bury St. Edmund markets. I didn't do those. I did the Ely markets. So in Ely. Yes, I have been very busy, which has been really, really good. Very good. You never really know like how things are gonna be, how like up and down, and they are up and down. Like some weeks I'm not, like everything's like pretty chill and feels manageable, and then others I feel like I'm like trying to keep up, and there are things that don't get done sometimes, and I just have to remind myself that I'm just one person, and it's okay if certain things don't get done, as long as I'm like doing my best and everyone's orders are getting out in time and everyone's castings are being done in time and done well. Everything else I can manage later, like emails and like sending emails, like marketing emails and stuff, and reels and all that jazz. It's a lot to keep up with when it's just one person, but it's never boring, that's for sure. All right, so we got our silicone. Thank you. Maybe some wet paper towels to clean the table so you don't stir up this. Yeah, that's probably the move. Like some shop towels, I might steal some shop towels from Tom and just saturate them and yeah, clean up the table. I was just about to say, you're one person here. Thank you. Yeah, I always like, I really try not to beat myself up. If I ever catch myself being like, oh, you should be doing this or you should be doing that or whatever, I always remind myself, like, you're one person, you're doing okay. Like, no one's mad at you. Like, just do what you can. If you can't get to something, like, just one person. To make sure this is mixed well. Something I really like about molds is that they're not like super time sensitive. Like whenever you're investing a flask with the investment, you're on like a really tight clock of, okay, you've got 8 minutes, go, you know? But with mold making, it's not like that. Like you got plenty of time. As long as you feel like everything is mixed together really well, once you feel like it is, then you can vacuum it. I usually try and vacuum the cup itself like this for maybe like 2 to 3 minutes. And then there's really no time frame for the mold itself. It's just like looking, and as soon as there aren't any bubbles touching your piece, when you unvacuum everything, when you let the vacuum release, then you're good. So I like how low pressure these are. I'm gonna put it over here real quick. Also, if you are using a Kaya cast, don't forget before you make your mold to scrape out the investment that's stuck to the lid, because it comes off when you vacuum sometimes and it'll land in your silicone mold, and you don't want that. So I try and like scrape off as much as I can, just dump it in my bucket of water. Okay. How's it going? Also, happy early birthday. Thank you. Thank you. I'm very excited. I feel like as an adult, you don't really get excited about your birthday anymore. But I'm gonna be 30, which I think is really exciting. I'm like, not many people get to be 30, you know? So it just feels like a big mile marker, and I don't know, it just feels, I don't know, I've got some things that might be happening. Maybe if you watched my latest studio vlog, then you'll know like where my brain has been. But I've got some things that might be happening this year, and I'm turning 30 this year, and things have just been going really well, and I don't know, I just feel like something really good is gonna happen, and that it's gonna be like a good decade, next decade of my life. So I'm excited. I'm excited to be 30. Hi, if not jewelry, what would you be making? Ooh, like what would I be doing with my life? I don't know. I really liked the career field that I was in before this. I was working with like new construction and like in real estate pretty much, and that was really fun. It was just like the employer that made that job not fun, but I did like that job. I was like doing like plans for homes and permitting and purchasing land, and all of that was really fun. If I could just find like a different employer to work for. But I never would have guessed that I would be doing this. Like never, ever, ever. It never crossed my mind as like a young adult in my early 20s or anything. It just very much fell upon me, and I'm very, very grateful that it did. It's been the best thing I've ever done in my entire life. Thank you. 30 is still pretty young. I mean, still got hopefully more than half of my life left. I'm very happy to be 30. I think a lot of people know a lot of people who never made it to 30, never made it to 40, or you know, so every birthday is a huge, huge, huge blessing. So I'm very excited to be 30. And if you're a 90s baby or like an early 2000s baby, everyone's excited to be 30 because of the movie 13 going on 30, you know? 30, flirty, and thriving. It's gonna be Saturday. Yeah. And I just wanna sleep in. I wanna sleep in for a really long time. I'd love breakfast in bed, that'd be cool. And I just wanna go get a massage. I don't wanna do anything else. I don't wanna eat really bad food. Ooh, and sushi. Sushi, a massage, and snacks. Let me look at this little notification real quick. Oop. It might have taken me off the screen with you guys. Ooh, my belly's growling, I'm hungry. Inspiration following your journey in jewelry. Thank you. Thank you. That makes me happy to hear. Birthday last year, asked for the same thing. I got a massage and bad food. It's all you end up caring about eventually. Like, I don't need to go out. I don't need to do anything. I just want like someone to rub my feet and feed me and let me sleep a lot. I'm a big, like, I'm a happy morning person, but I'm not like someone who enjoys getting out of bed, you know? That's all I ask for. That's all I want. All right, let's see if we can pour this silicone now. I think it's been a few minutes vacuuming. Do you recommend selling soft soldering jewelry? Do you recommend selling soft soldering jewelry? What do you mean? I have something in the mail for you, Anthony. Oh, you're so sweet, Brianna. Let's pour this in. No, my birthday is on Saturday. I was just saying that because my birthday is on Saturday, I'm trying to get a bunch of stuff done because I'll be gone from then to the 7th of June. I'll be out of the studio because I'm taking a GRS class. And so I'm trying to get a lot done today. I've been like all over the place today, trying to get as much stuff done as I can as possible because I'm on a really tight schedule. I've got a bunch of castings to do for people and I've got 3 more pieces of jewelry to make for people as well. And so I'm just trying to stay on schedule, which means I'm doing a lot of like different stuff all in one day. Should be enough silicone. Let's see. What is it? A GRS class? So GRS, do you know like GRS tools? They make this like scope arm and my Encore vise, and they make a ton of jewelry tools. They also have classes, like really, really good classes where they bring in professional engravers, professional stone setters, master engravers, master stone setters, and they have classes in Kansas, in Emporia, Kansas. So I'll be flying to Kansas and taking one of their classes. It's a 5-day class. And people, like the things that I've seen people learn in just 5 days is nuts. So I'm super, super, super excited. And I'll be learning from a guy named Johnny Oro. If you don't know who he is, look him up on Instagram. He's an incredible stone setter and engraver. And so I'm excited just to learn from him because he's clearly got some crazy skills. Let me put this on the table real quick. But yeah, so they have like formal classes. They've got a lot of them are like 5-day, 4-day classes, and then they even have like longer courses. So you can do You can do like master courses, and they've got just a ton of stuff out there. So yeah, I'm very excited. Ready about your silicone to make the molds. Rio Grande. It's the Akron. It's called Akron RTV mold kit, something like that. It is very exciting. I'm really, really excited because although I've taught myself a lot of stuff, I know there's a lot of stuff that I don't know. And so it'll be cool to learn from someone who is formally trained and is like just really, really, really good at what they do. Very exciting. I'm excited to find out how much stuff I've been doing wrong, you know? But then, like, the more I learn, the more I get to pass on really good info to you guys. So it was a birthday gift to myself to go, but also I think it'll be a really good thing for you guys, for me to learn like some more like elevated skills stuff and like proper, you know, jazz. Don't look at you like yourself. You're funny. My little brother, I have a little brother that's 2 years older than my son, which is really funny, but it's hard to find people to teach these things. I'm trying to learn setting small stones. I teach like what I know, and like I have a Patreon and I teach a lot of stuff on there, and I give a lot of like one-on-one help. But if you're wanting to like completely fast track your entire learning experience and you have the time and the resources to go do something like that, I think it's invaluable. Like if I were able to afford classes and had the time to go do classes from the very beginning, of course I would have done that. Like why wouldn't you want to skip ahead of the line and advance your skills as quickly as you possibly could? But I didn't have the time or the money. I was in the UK. I wasn't gonna fly all the way back to the US, you know? And then I was working full time, so I couldn't take 5 days off of work to go take a class. And now it's just the right time and I'm able to do it. And so if you're able to, I definitely think it would be a really good thing to do. Classes sound exciting. Are they expensive? So yeah, with them, the class is about $1,600. And then the flight was about $500, and then renting a car is about $300, and then a hotel is another like $450. Yeah, it can really add up. That's why it's really nice to be able to learn a lot of stuff online, or when like local classes open up where you can maybe drive, or if you have some family in the area. Like that's one reason why I really like the idea of me possibly opening up a public studio so I can teach people publicly, is because I live in a part of the country where there are no classes near me. And so if I had a space like that, then people close to me, they wouldn't have to pay for hotels and they wouldn't have to pay for flights if they wanted to learn things that I know how to do. Like obviously I can't teach a master engraving class, but I can teach people how to cast or wax carve or stone set and like other, you know, skills that I have. But that's why it would be nice for more schools like that to pop up in different areas so you don't have to fly across the country to learn. You should give Zoom classes. I'm not against the idea. I'm so interested in like doing things in person and having like the interaction, but I would consider it. Oh, good. That's good, Brianna. What was the tool? Yeah, money, it's expensive. That's why I went the self-taught route. It just takes a lot longer, but I also considered like for future GRS classes going with a friend and splitting the car rental and the hotel bill. Have you seen Dallin Hargrave's work before? He's incredible carving on gemstones. You should check out. Oh no, I haven't. I'll have to look him up. Dallin Hargraves. I need to. That sounds cool. Yeah, it's gonna be really fun. I'm excited. I'm gonna try and video everything and show you guys what we learn every day. I think it's helpful to see like what progress you can make in those classes before buying it. So hopefully it's gonna be worth it. I'm sure it is. I haven't seen anyone go to one of those classes and not progress like crazy well, you know, in that short amount of time. So I'm excited. I'm gonna document it for you guys so that you can decide if it's something that you want to do. But Anyway, let's go check on that mold real quick and see how the bubbles are going. Let's see. Look how many bubbles are in there. But the real test is what it looks like when you release the vacuum, so. Focus. So I still see some bubbles like touching the ring band, and then on the inside some big ones. So I'm gonna turn the vacuum back on and so I can get those bubbles out. You wanna make sure that there aren't any bubbles touching your ring before you like let it be done. So that part can take a little while. Sometimes it runs for like 3 to 5 minutes, but let's see. Ah, so it's the mold is vacuuming up the bubbles, so it's extracting all of the air pockets from inside the silicone mold, so that whenever you inject your mold, you don't have bubbles attached to your wax model. If you don't vacuum the bubbles out, then you'll have bubbles stuck to your piece, and so when you inject it, you're gonna see a bunch of little balls where the silicone set and there were bubbles in there. Your videos are really beneficial. I recently decided that jewelry making is what I want to be doing in my life. Any tips on what I should learn and how did you know it was what you love? Oh, that's awesome. I'm happy that the videos helped you. Tips on what you should learn and how did I know it was what I loved? So, tips on what you should learn mainly depends on what you're the most interested in. Like, are you interested in CAD? Are you more interested in wax carving? Are you more interested in hand fabrication? I think the first place to start, no matter what, would be learning how to solder, because it doesn't matter which type of jewelry making you choose, at some point you're going to need to know how to solder. So just start with soldering, and then maybe try a little bit of all of it, get a little bit of wax and start playing with that. And if you're like, I don't really like carving wax, then start watching videos on hand fabrication. But I think soldering is like the first logical step of it. And how did I know it was what I loved? I just could feel it. I mean, like from the very beginning, I was so obsessed with it. I couldn't stop doing it. I would stay up until like 3 in the morning every single day just to get another skill down. I think when you're obsessed with it, because it takes so much work and effort and time, you have to be obsessed with it in order to take this all the way. So whenever you feel like you're obsessed with it, I think that's how you know like you're on the right path, you know? It's usually 3 or 4 people per class, but the frequency and diversity of the classes and the chance of bringing home something you have made after one class is what kept people coming. That makes sense. I think small classes are really nice and helpful. You get more like one-on-one time and help and eyeballs. You're so sweet. Keep playing until they get it right. Exactly right. Love your video when you talk about soldering almost made you quit. I found the videos helpful because it's definitely, yeah, for sure it did. It almost made me quit, which is nuts because I would have never, I wouldn't be right here if I would have quit after that first hang up. So yeah, don't let any of the, I always tell myself, like when I find something challenging or tricky or I'm not getting something down, I always tell myself like, if they can do it, I can do it. I just gotta figure it out. Like there's just something that's not connecting and I need to figure it out. And I definitely feel that way. Like I'm not special in any way and neither is anyone else. Like if someone else can do it, you can do it too. It just depends on how much you want it, how badly you want to figure it out. And if you want it badly enough, like you're gonna do it and you're gonna figure it out and you're gonna get there. So yeah, definitely don't let any of the hang-ups keep you from going, because if I can do it, you definitely can do it. Let me go check on the mold real quick. I'll keep you here 1 second. just gonna inspect this over here with you guys. I think this might be good. I'm just making sure that none of the bubbles are touching the ring. See anything touching? And a lot of the bubbles too, like if you're making a mold for the first time, you'll still see bubbles in there, but just know like here in a little bit, that one's gonna collapse. Like a lot of them will collapse in there. I will say though, if some of them are pretty big, then you might wanna vacuum it one more time. And I might actually go vacuum it just to get some of the big ones out, but nothing's touching the ring. So as long as nothing's touching the ring, you'll be okay. But they should like snuff themselves out, the bubbles. I'm gonna leave it, that's fine. Let's see. Failure is a great teacher. Yes, it is. I think when you make mistakes and you recover from them and you treat them as valuable learning experiences, then you get something amazing. Yeah, for sure. And I think that's like, I don't want anyone to ever take it the wrong way when I talk about being self-taught, because obviously being formally taught is invaluable and so good and advances you so far. And if you ever get the opportunity, you should take it. But there is a lot of value in learning from someone who was self-taught and who's made a lot of mistakes so that they can also tell you about those mistakes too, because a lot of people don't get to be formally taught. And so if you're being taught, you know, or talked to by someone who's been formally taught, they have never ran into the mistakes they could warn you about. You know, there's beauty in both of them and there are benefits to both of them. But I'm ready to just like skip all the BS and just be helped and get better a little bit faster. But yes, all of my learning has come from failures. Was there a point in your career that you made you want to give up? What prompted it and how did you overcome? Definitely. Okay. If you're talking about my jewelry career, yeah, the only point in my jewelry career that ever made me think like, maybe I can't do this or I don't think I can do this was soldering. And that was in the very beginning. Um, I could not get soldering down. I could not get my solder to flow. I couldn't get it to flow in the right direction. And that went on for probably a good solid week. And I would be practicing every single day for hours. And I thought like maybe I just can't get this, or maybe this isn't something you can teach yourself. And then eventually I just got the hang of it. I think using solder paste was what helped me get over that hurdle. I was using soldered chips and my soldered chips would just fly off, or like the flux would bubble and my chip would, you know, fly off. And then I found solder paste and it made it so much easier. But it seems like now such a silly thing to like let yourself almost quit for. But yeah, I almost did. Other than that, there was nothing that could have ever made me quit this. There was a time in my jewelry making career where I was working full time. Obviously, I have a family, and I was going to school full time, and I was running my business full time, and well, full time after work. In the middle of the night, I was staying up to like 3 in the morning, and I was so exhausted. My house was a mess. I felt like I was just being pulled in every direction, and that was really tough. But never once did I think I shouldn't be making jewelry. Like, I don't have time to make jewelry. My first thing was I need to quit school. I need to stop doing school, because that's how much I loved it. I never would have considered giving that up. I would way rather give up my bachelor's degree than give up learning and growing my jewelry business. And so I did. I ended up quitting my bachelor's degree. I had enough credits to get my associate's degree, and it was the best thing I ever did. It freed up so much time. I cried way less. I cried all the time. Anytime I was doing school and it was taking away from like family or jewelry or whatever, I would just cry. I would. I was so stressed and exhausted. So if you need to quit school, quit school. How long does it take for the silicone to set before cutting the mold? I usually give it 24 hours. So if it's a wax mold that I'm mold making, 24 hours for sure. If it's one of a ring that's already been cast, I can usually cut it open in about 12 hours, because I usually put it on my little furnace. I have like an electric furnace that I plug in sometimes. I'll usually plug that in and I'll set it on top of the furnace, because the ring won't melt, but a wax ring would melt. So that one can get warm. So silver ring, 12 hours, wax ring, 24. Have you ever thought about making some new earring designs? Yeah, it's been a while since these are the newest ones that I have, like these little studs right here. Um, Other than that, I haven't made any earrings since my flower earrings. So yeah, I have some ideas. I have a pair of earrings that I want to make that are gonna match the Freya ring, like the really sparkly Freya ring, but I haven't made them yet. I've been playing catch up and I haven't had time to make new designs except for this one. This one's coming out tomorrow. And I've been kind of just making like one design at a time instead of like putting a bunch of pressure on myself to make collections. Some things aren't realistic and you just have to do the best with the time that you have. Like that's one thing I've learned with all of this is like just do what you can and be happy with it. Something is better than nothing. So if you can only put out one piece at a time, better than nothing than to pressure yourself to come out with a collection. Because if I told myself you can't put anything out that's new unless it's a 5-piece collection minimum, I wouldn't have a new piece out for like 6 months. So I've been giving myself permission to come out with one thing at a time as randomly as I want to, whenever I'm able to, just to, you know, because I don't have to do my business like everyone else. If I want to just do one thing at a time, then if that's the way can do it, then that's how I'm gonna do it. But this one's new. I need to give it like a fresh polish, but it's sapphires, Australian sapphires. They're royal blue. Like sometimes they look a little bit brighter, but and moissanite. But she's really nice and solid, like not hollowed out, but not heavy. She's really thin and really comfortable to wear, but I'm very excited about that ring. What do you do with pieces that don't turn out the way you hoped, especially pieces with stones? Thank you. That's a really good question. Well, I don't think I've ever made something that I really didn't like that had like a stone cast in place. Thankfully, those were all good. I'm trying to think if I've ever made one that I didn't like that had the stone set in it. Really, the only ones I've made that I didn't like were ones that I made in the past that I didn't realize I didn't like until now. Now that I can compare them to things that I make right now, if that makes sense. Um, but if you ever make something that you don't like, don't be scared to take it apart and start over. You can always recycle your metal, whether you send it back to your caster to recycle or you melt it down to recycle. So I just think you shouldn't be scared to start over. Gonna get more the degree thing. Trades are popular state. That is true. Very, very true. And not worth the tears and stress. And also I looked at it as like, this is what I want. Like the jewelry side of it is what I want. I should be like betting on myself and putting all my time and energy to that. Just bet on yourself, believe in yourself, and why would I put more emphasis on school? I was going to school for HR management. I don't even want to be an HR manager. Why am I crying over HR manager school when I could just be putting all of my time and energy into this thing that I love? And so yeah, it was an easy decision, especially when and I always put a lot of pressure on. It was something that my mom, always our parents they want you to do well and they're like, go to school, get a degree, yada yada yada. So I always put a lot of pressure on myself about it, and I put a lot of my self-worth on it too, on getting a degree. And just always having like a backup plan. And so it was really, really tough for me to decide to not do that. But as soon as Tom said, you should just quit school, like this is dumb, like just quit school and do, like focus on work and jewelry. And I was like, say no more. You've said enough. I should just quit school. Would butterflies be hard to make in earrings? Ooh, yeah, that would definitely be hard for me. I'm not much of like a sculptor. Can you show us how you made that ring? Okay, so I carved it out of a block of wax. I carved it out of, it was one that was a little bit wider than this. And then I just shaped it, and then I'm saying this and I realize it's not helpful as I'm saying it because you can't see it. And I didn't film any of it. But pretty much I just like gave the initial shape that I wanted, and then I measured, the width, and I divided it in half, and I used my dividers to boop, 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 mark up the center for the center gemstones. But before I knew what layout I was going to do, I took a sheet of blue tack and I laid out the gemstones to see what layout I liked. I tried a bunch of different layouts, and then I decided on this layout. And then I just put all of my like drilled holes for my moissanite in the middle. And then I drilled a hole for each sapphire. And then I took my drill bit, because obviously the sapphires are tapered baguettes. So I drilled the hole for the baguette, and then I just tilted my drill bit a little bit this way and a little bit that way to create like a bed for it. And then I took my wax pen and I warmed up the sapphire to push it into the wax and create a good impression. And that's how I got them to lay down really nicely in there. I know that's not super scientific and that probably doesn't help much, but I hope that kind of gave you an idea. I get all of my wax from Rio Grande, all of it. My wax tubes, my wax sheets. You can also get it from Amazon if you want to. They have it as well. I think you can get wax from Auto Fray as well. I gotta turn on my kiln. Let's see. Doopy-doopy-doo. If you wanted to, sorry, 1 second. I'm trying to read and do this at the same time. If you're wanting to send wax pieces to be cast, would you recommend packing them? Bubble mailers or boxes? I don't want to be overkill, but I also don't want to be damaged. No bubble mailers. No bubble mailers. Every time they come crushed, they're broken, and I don't have the heart to send it back, and I always end up fixing it for people. But please, no bubble mailers, because the mail people, I'm sure they're all nice people at home, but they throw that stuff around and they squish it in between other boxes, and it never comes out good. So I've seen people put them in, obviously in boxes, and they'll wrap each one in bubble wrap or in tissue paper. People have sent it to me in recycled clean Nespresso pods. They've sent it in, I'll show you something that someone did recently that was really cool. I don't know where she got them, but this is super smart and the safest way to send them. But she sent them in this right here, in this little doodad. And so each one had a ring in it. Sorry, let me come down here with you. Each one had a ring in it, and you just unscrew it. I don't know if you can get these on Amazon, but this was like, I mean, this is not going to get damaged at all. And she put this in a bubble mailer, and that's okay. Like, this won't get crushed. But definitely put it in something hard, because anything else will get squished and break. So yeah, something strong. Sorry, 1 second. Let me set a timer for my kiln. I just turned it on. And I can't set a timer right here while I'm on the phone with you guys. So I'm gonna set it on my iPad and then screenshot it in case my iPad dies. 8.5 hours. Start. So 10:09, I will cast at 10:09. Let me write that down. Love it. I did it. Thanks for sharing. You're welcome. I'm getting a ojito on my next paycheck. Oh, that's so exciting! I don't see a size selection on the website after I purchase. Can I send you an email with size? It's in, you can put it in the notes. So if I didn't put that in the description, I'm really sorry. In the description though, it should say, please place ring size and order notes. So whenever you go to order it, it'll have a note section, and you just put size 5 or size 10 or whatever your ring size is. But that's so exciting. I love that ring so much. Here, I'll show you your future. She's so pretty. I love this ring. Someone recently ordered it with a Montana sapphire, which is going to be really pretty. I'll be making that whenever I get back from Kansas, but I'm very excited to make that for you. What about my wax pen? Like, do you mean like what kind of wax pen do I have? It's the Touch-O-Matic one. If you do a bubble mailer, put your wax in a small tin. Yeah, that works too. Have you ever tried metal clay? Your videos inspire me to try wax, but I would need more tools. It should look fun though. I bought some metal clay. I wanted to try it just to see what it was like. It looks really cool. I bought some when I went to the Tucson Gem Show, and I left it. I spent like $125 on a bag of metal clay, and then I left it in the hotel room on accident. And so I haven't purchased more just because I've been very money conscious recently, but I haven't purchased any more. But it looks really cool, and it looks like there's a lot of stuff that you can do with it. Separated my bangs there. I considered making some pieces in gold, however the price is making me second guess doing so. My sales already take a while, which is silver, so I'm a bit uncertain about whether or not to try it. Okay, so this is what I do, and you can decide whether or not to do it. However, I will say I severely underestimated how many people want to buy gold and want to invest in gold and will buy your gold jewelry. So if I were you, I would just make it an option. That's what I do, because I can't afford to make every single piece of mine in gold. I would never be able to afford to do that. So I make my piece in silver. I put it up on my website, but I always calculate the cost of what it would cost me to make it in gold. So just weigh your ring when it's in wax or in silver, and then just go to ChatGPT and say, if my silver ring weighs 0.5 grams, what would that weigh in 10 karat yellow gold, and in 14 karat yellow gold, and in 18 karat yellow gold? And it will give you the weight for each one. And then you just go to wherever you get your gold from and calculate how much that would cost, and then add a little bit on for like ring size variations if you charge the same price for everyone. And then you can at least list it on your website as an option. And then when someone purchases it in gold, because they will, you can take photos of it before you mail it out, and now you can add it to your website. So I offer all of my stuff in gold, even if I've never made it in gold, if that makes sense. So you don't have to make the investment up front. Just give them the option to buy it, and then either they will or they won't, and trust me, they will. Oh no, you're completely fine, Yvonne. I sometimes I duplicate the wrong product listing, and in some of them I have it in there. I've tried to go catch it all, and so I'm still human too, and I make mistakes on my product listings all the time, so I wouldn't have doubted it if it didn't say it in there. But thanks for letting me know. It saves me going and double checking it. I love sitting at my bench while listening to you. Oh, yay. I like hanging out with you guys. This makes my day go by so much faster. It's so much more fun. It's like when I like making YouTube videos for you guys, but I'm just talking to myself the whole time. And so this is way more fun. Can I make the flower earrings with amethyst? I don't know if I have it listed with amethyst. I think I didn't list it with amethyst because 8x6 amethysts are pretty pricey. But I think I could. I'll look and see if I have it as an option. Thoughts on making a death clock? I don't know what a death clock is, and it doesn't sound like something I want. Should I Google that? Is that something I need to Google what that is? A death clock. I don't know if y'all remember seeing, but like some of the bubbles are gone now from in there. Like sometimes they'll collapse on their own. Let's see. I have to leave in about 15 minutes. I have to go get my hair cut. Does anyone have any more questions? I think I have to leave y'all for today. But we'll do this again later on this week. I really enjoy going live with you guys. If you haven't seen my new video, I posted it this morning. You can go give it a watch. It's a studio vlog. It's a long one. It's a chatty one. Make some really pretty rings in that one too. But yeah, if there are no more questions, I'll go let y'all enjoy the rest of your day. What are you doing with your hair? I think I'm just gonna get a trim. I had my crisis with my bangs and I'm okay now. I don't feel the need to chop anything. But my ends are just really dead and I've been cutting my own hair for like a year now and I decided it's probably time to stop. But they just like look so dry and dead, you know? You know you need a haircut when like you go to brush it and it's like so I'm just gonna get some long layers and give it a little trim. Thanks for chatting. Have fun. Thank you. All right, I'll see you guys later. Have a good night.